everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. On this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. Before we get into the first topic, I just wanted to give everybody a quick update. Simon Kinberg has officially come out and announced the Fantastic Four trailer will be debuting in front of Kingsman: The Secret Service on February 13th. While he did not confirm otherwise, I have still been hearing word that we are going to be getting a 30-second TV spot during the Super Bowl, which is on, I believe, either February 1st or 3rd. So be on the lookout for that. The only confirmed TV spots for the Super Bowl as of right now are Jurassic World and Ted 2. But most likely we'll be getting something with Fantastic Four, Furious 7. I believe Pixels is lining up to have a TV spot, which is the new Adam Sandler comedy. What was the other one? There's one more film. If I can think about it, I'll put it in the comment section. But there's one more film that they are trying to put in the Super Bowl for their TV spots, but it hasn't been announced fully yet. So the first major topic we have to talk about today is really surprising. It looks as though Tom Hardy has dropped out of Suicide Squad only a few weeks after signing on to the film. Now, at least that was a few weeks ago that it was publicly announced that he had signed on to the film. Who knows how long he'd been on there for. Apparently, the reason given for the dropout was a scheduling issue. He is currently filming The Revenant, or I believe about to film The Revenant with Alejandro Inarritu, the guy who directed Birdman, also starring Leonardo DiCaprio. That movie apparently has a delayed shooting schedule and will go into late March, which is when Suicide Squad was supposed to start filming. Because he'll have to delay Suicide Squad by a little bit, it will tie into his press duties with Mad Max Fury Road, which will be opening up in May, and he has to start, I believe it's opening internationally well before that. So he'll have to start his press tour sometime in the middle to end of April, beginning of May, and he won't have enough time to go in and shoot Suicide Squad. So he has had to drop out, which is, it is unfortunate. I personally saw him as the odd duckling in that group, only because he was in the most recent DC movie outside of Superman, where he played a villain as well. He played another villain. So to me, it was kind of odd that he was signing on to that. I thought he would have played it really well, but to me, it was a little odd that he was signing on to it. It looks as though they may have found their replacement for him, though. It looks possibly that Jake Gyllenhaal will be taking over the role of Rick Flag in Suicide Squad. Now, this is not set in stone. This is still in early talks. But anybody out there who has any, what's the right terminology, any hesitancy with Gyllenhaal taking on a role like this in a superhero film, let me show you this picture right here, okay? This is from his upcoming film called Southpaw, where he plays a boxer. Look at the ripped, just disgustingness of this guy. Like, this guy is massive now. And you go out there and you tell me with something like that, with a physique like that, and the intensity of a character that he brought in something like Nightcrawler, you tell me how he's not going to be a great addition to the Suicide Squad. This, to me, is absolutely fantastic. I find it actually better casting than Tom Hardy. I know I'm in the minority on that, but that's how I personally feel. I've been championing Gyllenhaal for so long. I feel that he is one of the most underrated actors out there because he just isn't given his due. But he's also not the type of person to go out there for awards acclaim. He goes out there for challenging roles. And if Rick Flag is something that is really piquing his interest, that to me shows real signs of strength in this script and in this story. So I'm really excited about it. The other flip side to this there's enough there to believe it, but I personally don't, that the ego of Will Smith is what has caused Tom Hardy to drop out. Because Rick Flag was to be the leader of the group, with Deadshot always kind of being a second in command or vying for the role of leadership. And I can really see Will Smith being behind the scenes and saying, no, I'm going to be the lead. If I'm not the lead, I'm not doing it. Because he has said that in the past. I've even said that on here in the past. So I personally don't believe it. I think that Will Smith has had a little bit of a shakeup in his career to the point where he's understanding where he is now, like where he lies in the spectrum of everything. I know so many people are really starting to get sick of his shtick, just in his personal life. I still love him on screen. I still think he is so charismatic on screen. He's just so much fun to watch. But his personal life, he really needs to get that under control. For somebody who lives in the limelight, you need to save face. You need to do stuff like that in order to appease your fans. Those are the people who keep you in the business. So you need to do as much as you can to appeal to them while still maintaining your own dignity and all that kind of stuff. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Outside of just Nightcrawler and Southpaw, I mean, he's had Prisoners and Enemy in the last couple of years. He had even it was a Source Code that he did, which I thought he was really good in. Anybody out there who thinks Gyllenhaal's not the right person for this role, I have to beg to differ. I think that he is definitely one of the better options for this role. Filming, like I said, is expected to start in late March, early April in Toronto. The film is going to be opening up on August 5th, 2016, and if Gyllenhaal signs on, he will be leading Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. There's also Cara Delevingne as the Enchantress. You have Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, and then also you have Jared Leto playing the Joker, which I'm still interested to see how he fits into the movie. I'm really curious about that. But Suicide Squad, as it stands right now, opens up on August 5th, directed by David Ayer. If we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. When the Sony hack happened and all the emails came out, one of the big stories that came out was they were considering doing a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover. And myself included, I know almost everybody out there scoffed at the idea, saying that is absolutely stupid, it's horrible, it could never work. Well, it looks as though, like, a lot of people were saying that it wasn't true, that it couldn't be true, there's no way that those would work. Looks as though that it was actually legitimate, that they were actually having these conversations, that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were on board with it, at least, because they gave these quotes when they were in Beijing. They go, in regards to Men in Black Jump Street crossover, if it might happen, he goes, "Nothing's changed. It's still a crazy idea. We only do things that seem like they're going to be terrible. So this only makes it more like that. We're really focusing on just like what's a great story for Schmidt and Jenko and how to tell the next chapter in their lives. And perhaps use creatures from another world at the same time." They still go. They went on to say it's still in the early concept stages, but it's they would love to have Tommy Lee Jones back, but whether or not it could actually work is still another story. I mean, that to me is where it leads into whether or not this would be a full-on reboot of Men in Black, if that's what they're trying to do, because Sony's been trying to get a continuation of Men in Black for a while. Will Smith has gone on record to say he's not coming back. Now that could change depending on paychecks or depending on his public perception. But if they're doing a full reboot, I hesitate to say it might work. Okay, just bear with me for a second. This is my little take, my pitch on Men in Black Jump Street, or whatever they're going to call it. So you have Schmidt and Jenko on their next case, because remember the first movie, 21 Jump Street, was kind of making fun of remakes. You know, it was a satire of remakes. 22 Jump Street was a satire of sequels and bloated budgets and going over the top and all that kind of stuff. I've always said that the third one should go after franchises. But going after crossovers, one of my colleagues at work actually made mention of this, and it makes sense having them attack crossovers and really poking fun at how, like, this can't work. Like, we're cops. We can't go in and shoot aliens and stuff like that. Like, they could really work. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller's comedic sensibilities could make it succeed. There are the ingredients here that could make it absolutely terrible, absolutely horrible. But it could work. If they were able to get Tommy Lee Jones back, I don't think that would be a good idea, only because he seemed to not really want to be there for Men in Black 3. Even though he was only in it for about 10 minutes. He didn't seem to want to be there. So, well, I still don't know if this would work. I think it really could, having Jenko and Schmidt be chasing somebody down, very similar to the original Men in Black. Have them be on a case, hunting somebody down, and it turns out that person ends up being an alien, or they come across an alien hive or something like that, and they get recruited by the Men in Black, or have to tag team with the Men in Black, and then their memories get erased. You know, and then they actually end up becoming recruits for Men in Black. It could work. There's lots of avenues that they could take it. This is all depending on whether or not this is the one that they settle on. But just confirming the fact that a Men in Black Jump Street crossover is still being discussed, to me, is actually quite cool. Mainly only because Lord and Miller are still involved with that. If they were not involved with this, I don't think it could work, because they have a knack for turning terrible ideas into great movies. Lego Movie, remaking a 1980s dramatic television show about cops in high school into a comedy and having it be hysterical. Not to mention having the sequel, which is almost impossible to do, live up to the original. Outside of that, you have Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, a movie about a machine that is created that causes the weather to change into food. I mean, that just sounds stupid. That movie is absolutely hysterical. And the Lego Movie, a movie about Legos. Who thought that that would ever have actually been successful? Not only on top of that, endearing, fun, and funny, and with a lot of heart. And it turned out to be the best animated film of this year. Not that the Academy noticed that or anything like that, but still. The fact that these guys are still involved in an idea like this, it could work. Could. I can't, in video, you can't underline a word that's said, but if I could, I'm underlining could, because it could work. It probably wouldn't, but I'm still holding out hope. I still, to me, this sounds like, oh, it'd be fun to see. You know, it'd be fun to see it on screen, you know, at least an idea of it, what they could do with it. You know, there's lots of areas that they could go. There's no shooting schedule, no planned release date or casting or anything like that, because it is still nothing more than a concept right now. I believe they are aiming for a 2017 release if they are able to get it off the ground, at least for the continuation of the 21 Jump Street franchise. Whether or not that's a Men in Black crossover is still ways away. But if we do get more information about this topic, to me, it just sounds like it could really work. I think it could. But if we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. With our final topic today, we have news that Ron Howard's latest film, In the Heart of the Sea, which was originally slated to come out in March, has now been pushed back to December 11th, 2015. A lot of people, like, that surprised the hell out of me. Only because, not because it's being moved to December. That's actually a much better release date for it, I believe. The fact that it was happening 2 months before it was going to be released. We've had already 3 trailers for the movie. You know, I mean, I don't believe that it would have taken the studio this long to notice that they have an awards contender movie on their hands. I really don't. The first edit would have at least given you that hint that, oh, you know, we might have something here. And then when you go in, you get the rough cuts done and you start doing all the trimmings and getting the pacing right and, you know, getting the timings right and all that kind of stuff. They would have known a while ago that this was a movie that's award contender, if that's the reason that they're moving it. The only other reason I could think of is that it's a big steaming pile, and they're going to be opening it right around the time that Star Wars comes out, and they'll think that it'll be nice counter-programming to it. I don't see that happening. I can't see that being the case because it's Ron Howard. Ron Howard's bad films aren't even bad films. They're just mediocre. You know, they're just good. So, I mean, I don't see how this movie could be bad. It's based off of the story that inspired Moby Dick. Yeah, I mean, moving it to December, they're doing it so that they can get awards consideration. By and large. This movie, I always thought that this was going to be a movie that was going to be in for awards consideration. Moving it all the way to December, they could have gotten away with October, but it all depends on what their release schedule is for those months. So if they didn't have any films coming out in December, which that date, they're all by themselves right now. December 11th does not have anybody else opening up on in 2015. But a week later, you have Star Wars The Force Awakens. It is good counter-programming. It is a movie that people who are going to go see Star Wars are, generally speaking, not going to go and see a movie like this. For the most part, at least. For the most part. But I'm on board with this. I mean, Ron Howard's one of my absolute favorite directors. He has directed one of my all-time favorite films, which is Apollo 13. So, yeah, I'm on board with it. I can't wait to see what he's able to do with this. I'm actually getting even more excited about his next film, Inferno, because one of my guilty pleasure franchises is the Da Vinci Code franchises. I love adventure films. You know, I love mysteries. And so having a mystery wrapped up in a riddle inside an enigma. Sorry, that was a line from my favorite film, JFK. But having a movie about a quest set in modern day, but dealing with history is, to me, one of the most fascinating areas in film. They could have done a hell of a lot better with the movie, absolutely. But I still feel that it did really well. And Inferno is going to be the third film in that series, which I'm excited for, especially getting Tom Hanks and Ron Howard back together. Just shows that they like working on this franchise. So I'm really excited for it. I mean, In the Heart of the Sea, it's Chris Hemsworth movie. Maybe they were also wanting to separate it from his release of Black Hat, because, I mean, you're getting Black Hat in January. Then in March, you'd be getting In the Heart of the Sea. Then in May, you would be getting Avengers. It's a little too much Hemsworth. So moving it to December really does spread that out a little bit. And I think that will help all the films. So it's a good decision all across the board. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, whether you think this was the right decision for them, if you think that they should have done something different with it, if you think they should have stuck with the release date, or what you think the other reasons for the push might be. Put a comment in the comment section, and I'd really just love to hear what your guys' opinions are. But if we do get more information about In the Heart of the Sea, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click the subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can go ahead and email us at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. And on every Friday episode, we'll try to get to as many as we can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.